we're gonna paint a little painting here, some little scene or some flowers or whatever. And then I'm gonna show you why it's fun to do that with a pen as well. So first things first, I think I'm going to use up what I have here. So I will wake that up just by putting a little water, but also this is a pipette. They're used for some kind of medicinal purpose, but it's a very nice little squeezy bulb, and you can buy like 1,000 of them for $10 or something, less than that. But I can either just squeeze it down in my water here and then drop a drop, you know, whatever I want to do, right in here. And I just let it float in my water. Or I can take my little spray bottle that I salvaged from some hair product or whatever and really cleaned it well. I could take that as well and just spray to re-wet my paint. So right now, I'm just gonna go with the flower thingy because I'm in the mood. And we've got purples. We could add a little pink. Let me get this palette here. Throwing things in that kind of day. And I've got some nice reds and pinks, so I'm going to leave those here as well. And we will do the same thing, pipette down in the colors. And I'm going to stick pretty much in this one. I think I have enough greens over here, but I might as well wet them just in case I decide to use those. All right, there we go. So first things first, let's go ahead and see what we got over here. It's a pretty little purple. And I'm literally, and I am dead set, about making this as simple as possible. So I'm just going to lay down some pretty little colors. Nothing fancy, just kind of laying out some little shapes of petals. I could get some more water on that brush. Ta-da. Ta-da. Maybe a little one here. Doo-doo-doo. Just really very lightly, just kind of throwing stuff in there. And maybe another one here that's a little more open this way. I really do need to get some more water on this brush. I'm not using the best paper. I'm using the Arteza, which is a watercolor paper, and it's the right weight and everything, but it's not 100% cotton, so it doesn't always act the way that if I was going to be doing something really fancy, I'd want to use my Arches, or I have a couple others that I like to use. The Hahnemühle makes a good one, and then Stonehenge, I like that one. But for now, I'm just getting some stuff and throwing it in here. I'm going to throw some little pink in the middle of these. There we go. And you see how loose, we are talking loose. Now I'm going to grab some more, let's do some of this red here. And we'll do a little bit of a different shape. Now, flowers come in all shapes and sizes, as we know. So I'm going to come from the beginning, from the inside, and I'm going to come and make a nice round petal. And I'm going to have another one right here. And another one here. I'm not too concerned. I know it's hard for you to see, probably my hand's in the way. But really, essentially, all I'm doing is I'm connecting two sides, kind of rounding off. And just, that's all I'm doing on this one. I'm going to add some, let's see if I wet that enough. I probably didn't, so that's okay. But now I can just drop that in there if I want to. But you get the idea. We're just throwing stuff down so I can show you how nice it is to be able to just add some pen and ink, and how gorgeous it's going to be when you do that. This is going to be a little bitty one. I'm putting these little bitty ones down here at the bottom. Doesn't even have to be the same kind of flower, but because I did put that many petals, I'm going to throw some more petals in here. And I know what I'm going to be using the ink, so I'm not too worried about. It's good to leave a little white here and there when you're doing these kind of flowers, I'm going to grab some of this purple, in fact, and I'm going to just kind of add a little bit more of this color in here. You'll see how it all kind of comes together when you start using the ink. Okay, then with this so far I'm good. I can use this deeper blue, and we'll just do kind of a little something different. And I'm just sticking with this one brush in case you haven't noticed. Since we ended up putting that there, it's really awkward to paint this way without moving my paper around, but I know it's better, probably make it easier for you to see somewhat what I'm doing. So I just laying it right here, and that's fine. I generally like to work in threes, but you know, there are no rules in art. Okay, let's go back though, because it's gonna bug me, and add one more little red flower here. And this one, I'm just gonna put a little bud. There we go. Rinsing this brush, I'm going to take a thinner brush. I'm going to grab some of this green and very loosely just drag some stems down here. Okay, do something a little straight on these. There we go. I think we need a little yellow or something. Oh, I just happen to have some here. Something little and light. And I think I will just do something like this. It's fun to add some variety here and there, you know, just throw something in there. And as I have a tendency to say, it's more fun to create than recreate, because your mind is expanding, you're getting all this stuff going in your head and just kind of going with it. So it can be a lot of fun to just go wherever you feel like it, wherever your brain takes you. Get that creativity just kind of flowing around in there. And here I am with 5. All right. Now with those, I am also going to put in some green, but this time I'm taking the yellower green and mixing that in with some of this over here. I don't think you can see off the side of my palette here, but I'm just kind of making a little bit more of a yellowy, really thin little lines. Watercolor always dries lighter than what you're putting it on. So I'm going to go back over the first couple ones because I was really light with those. And you may have noticed an absence of leaves. We're not going to forget about leaves. We're going to be putting leaves in. And what I'm going to do on these here, I am going to wet some of that. It's my, let's take a little brush here, something relatively smallish like this. I'm going to wet it and stick it into, I hope that is my ivory black, yes. And I'm just going to dot because I feel the need to do that. That's the only reason. Just add something kind of cool to these guys here because they're just kind of cool. All right. And this is where layering gets to be fun. With these little purple ones here, I can grab some orange, maybe something like that, and just kind of lay it in there. See? Nothing fancy, just complementary colors. There we go. Okay. Now that we've got that, let's do some leaves. Now I love using, for some types of leaves, my dagger brush. I know I'm always showing you this dagger brush when I'm working with my watercolor. So I'm going to grab that and I'm going to go in here and grab some of the pyrroline. How about that? I love this really dark, rich green. Of course, I'm going to be putting it in a little watered down, and that's okay. One of these days, I am going to clean this palette, but in the meantime, I just keep grabbing color from it because it just lasts. And these, I think I'm going to just do this, something really light and complementary. See how the colors kind of work together? And this is just kind of a very unusual looking little flower, but it's got some really cool leaves. And you see, all I'm really doing with this brush, and the reason I love it so much, is it's very soft. It holds a lot of paint and water, and the shape of it really kind of allows you to just twist and untwist, make long, smooth strokes or heavier strokes. It's just a pretty little thing. So let's get this. That's a great green for that purple. For this one here, I think I'm gonna go with a little bit more of a limey, yellowy kind of. Let me grab some. I still have some green on my brush. I'm actually going to use that pyrroline with that yellow I was using before. And let's do, this time I'm just laying it down. See? Same brush. Just messing with the paint. Totally different kind of leaf. I can do like that and get more than one type of piece of, let's do here. Put some white in there. You get the idea. Okay. Now these over here, let's do with that one. I think I'm gonna go to, ooh, I'm tempted to go with a whole different color. Let's see what I can create here. And let me show you this palette in case you can't see it. See, it's got all these weird colors on it. So I mixed the one green with what I had left for the yellow. This is where my pyrroline is, and you can see if I dip there, it's just gonna keep coming. And you see this dot here? That's kind of where I was going, and I just want to pull it in here. You see what it's doing to that green? I absolutely love that. And because this has the purple in it, when I go to those flowers that have that purple, you'll see the harmony it creates because this subtle purple is in this bluish green now. So I'm going to use that one on these guys. And I'm going to really kind of see what I did. And you see what I mean? How it just kind of has that, the colors are just going to automatically be complementary because the one has so much of the other color in it. I'm going to make these doubles. It's almost like a blade itself. Well, I like that one just like that. And down here, I'm just going to throw one or two in this area. I think two. Just a little one in here. See how I love how the watercolor pools, just the way it just moves. It's just such a cool thing. I could drop some more in here and at the tip here if I wanted to, just to give it some more character and depth. Okay, last thing, I'm going to go back in with that black again, not with this brush. I'm tempted to because I want to do something right here. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. So let's leave that for now. This little guy needs a little help. So let's take that small brush again. And I'm going to grab that same red. And I'm just going to kind of give it a little something. That works. All right. Okay, let's see. We're going to let this dry a little. I feel like I want something up around the top. Oh, and I got to put some kind of little petally things around these, or leafy things around these guys. So while I happen to have this brush, I'm going to take a little bit of this yellow again with this green. And I'm kind of doing the same thing I was doing before, but this time I'm going to go this route. Just really feeling creative today. See how it just kind of, it's light, but it has its place. Going the opposite way is really hard, but I'm doing it. Getting all around in there. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard when you don't have that ability to turn your paper. I do recommend, I normally work on a board. It's called, what do they call them? A sketchboard. And that really makes it, I probably have one sitting right here next to me somewhere. No, they're out in the studio. You know, when I'm working on watercolor, I tend to be in here lately while I'm cooking dinner or whatever. Just because I can't stop painting. It's just become such an addictive thing for me. I have to do it. Okay, I think that's enough. All right, let's get our hot heat gun, this guy here. And I'm going to dry this, and then I'm going to go around with the pen. You can tell this is my less expensive paper because it's almost like the water's gone through even though I haven't really used that much. But that's okay. For this, it's perfect. It works. And you'll see why. That's going to be good. Now, the pen that I have the handiest may not be the biggest one I want. So let's go with, and these are knockoffs, but they're the Micron that's made by Sakura. Those are really the good ones. But these work just as well to me in my mind. Well, this is an 8. That's actually a good size for this. This Mogian, I buy these because they're very inexpensive. These were too, to be honest. They're very inexpensive, but they work and they do exactly what I need them to do. And they have all of the characteristics of what I need them to be. So this is what we're gonna do. You gotta be as loose and relaxed as possible with this, okay? So I can feel my paper's pretty much dry. You can tell there's some places. Gosh, how in the world is that still wet? But that's okay, because it's a perfect example of why it's okay. Focus right there. I see it now. It had that little gloss to it that I had missed, and that's okay. But I'm gonna start up here. And what I'm going to do is literally very, very loosely, I'm going to turn everything that's over here into petals that are much really bigger than what I've got represented. Just making some petal shapes. And then in the middle of this, I'm going to make something out of this little purple area in there. And I'll show you over here, same thing, just kind of making those petals what I want them to be. If they didn't look like petals before, they kind of will now. But I'm not sticking entirely to the shape that it's already painted there. That would kind of defeat the purpose. So same here, just kind of deciding this one was going here in my mind. This one maybe there. I'm putting one in the back. There's another one in the back. So you see what I'm talking about? Now here's the thing. I'm going to do the same thing with the leaves. I don't even care if it's not totally within those lines. In fact, what I'm going to end up doing is I will show you. The whole purpose of this is to have this, the ink makes such a nice contrast to the white paper. And when you have the color and you have the ink, you're bringing something out that you wouldn't see otherwise. And yes, you know, you've got all these really nice little angles and stuff. You know, you've got these little swipes that you've made with your stems and whatnot. And you can really emphasize those. If you want it to be straight, make it straight. That's cool. But I'm going to go back here for a minute and see what I'm doing. I'm just feathering these guys here. There's one of these little yellow guys here. I'm just kind of feathering those because I think it looks good. And every time I see a leaf, I'm going to go in and make it a leaf. Here's one, this one, and this one. I'm going to put a little line up in there. Doop. I am creating, not recreating. See how I changed the shape of that little one? That's okay, because that's the way I wanted to do it. And that's your freedom. You have this freedom. Art is a very personal thing. Make it yours. Now here, remember I said earlier I was going to reach for something, but I really just wanted to put something down in the middle of this. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go in with the little black dots. And again, this is just a pen. With this one, I have a lot of leaves overlaying, petals overlaying other petals, and I'm going to bring that out with my pen. See? All right, we are over here to our purple guys. I can make these as clear as I want to, or not make them clear. But when you do this, the other thing about it is you see the white around these. It just brings that life and movement to something, and it's very easy. So for a beginner and you just want to play around, this is a great way to do it. It takes a lot of that stress out of trying to make your shapes all, your pens, you know, brush strokes all look perfect and whatnot. It doesn't have to be, because when you start going in with your pen, and you see how it goes over this watercolor very easily. I think I'm going to take these little orange ones too. See? And then these leaves are very cool. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. The white, now it looks like it's part of that, and it just adds to this already cool leaf shape. I really like these. I really like my dagger brush. stay thin, I can go wide. You get the idea. Now, if you really want to make it special, what you can do, same pen, is go around that, and I'm not even connecting all of the dots. I'm just literally loosely, see what I did with this flower? I'm going around a second time, even looser than the first time. And you would think that would totally ruin it, but it won't. It's just going to give it that additional movement and flow and just kind of a unique vibe. See? I don't know how else to explain it, but it's just one of those things that, you know, you can just kind of, some of them I'm putting more, put some little lines down in the middle, but going over it a second time makes it even doubly special because now it's just got this freedom about it that's clear to anybody. It's relaxing. It's, I don't know, I love doing this because when you add that second layer, you really do add more life to that little drawing. Don't, you know, stay on, you don't have to connect all the lines. It could just be a part of it like I did just there. So I could just go up and a part of this is going to be double. Maybe just, you know, a part of these, just whatever you want to do. But just know that by, you see how when I say no, you don't have to connect them all. The movement that comes out of these types of strokes with your pen is just what really brings this whole thing to life. So don't be afraid to just, and you'll be amazed if you'll just trust me on it and just use a piece of paper, put some paint on it, do this, and this is just going to be something you're just going to love because it's so unique, it's friendly, it's fun, and I highly encourage you to do this. It also reminds you of the freedom you have to have different styles of art and to experiment, you know, to just try different things. Let your mind go wild. It can get really boring always trying to recreate something that already exists. You just can't get any more fun than that, except if I add a bee. I gotta add a bee. So I'm gonna just grab some yellow. And I'm going to put a little stripe and another little stripe of yellow. I'm going to grab some black. I'm going to go right in the middle of there. I'm going to go some here. I'm going to go some here. I'm going to use my brush and I'm going to pull out some wings for this guy. And then with some really thin little legs. He's gonna have some little legs coming out here. And just some whatever. So now we have a little bee. And you know when that dries, I'm gonna go around that with my pen. But you see how simple that was? Let's dry him off. Now I can go back over him, especially these wings. And I'm definitely going to go over those a couple times. And we have our little bee. That's it. I really, really hope you're able to follow along. And if not, that you will try this and give it your own, you know, pizzazz. One last thing that I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to add some spatter. And I think I'm going to use this purple because I have so much of it. And just going to give it a little extra. See? Bam. Done. That's it. Our little masterpiece for the day. I hope you enjoyed that. Have fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Keep me going. And take care.